Hi, Rebecca. Things look pretty good here. It's amazing how you've been able to make this design look very different based on the distribution of colors and the different color sets. Um, let's see. I think that your compliments one looks pretty good. The only thing is, the assignment's asking for varieties of colors from the hues you point to. So it'd be good to have some variations, tints, tones, shades, the saturated version. Monochrome looks good. Split complements looks pretty good. One trouble I'm having here with the triad one, at least in this phase, is I should be able to click anywhere on that design and get a color that comes from the color picker fields of the three hues you point to. And because of the gradient, that's not possible. I'm not saying that you ought not use a gradient for week 6, assignment 1, but it does make things less clear here in assignment 3, week 5. Hi, Jeff. Well, I like the look of this split complements one. I don't think you have the idea quite right. So what you want to do is choose a color and find its complement opposite it on the color wheel. So you could use the orange you point to and the two blues. However, the red doesn't fit this color harmony. Looking at complements, things are okay, except the darker blues should be shades of cyan. Things look pretty good in monochromatic. I have a feeling that you are actually using the red-orange one to the right of the one you point to. This isn't a straight red, but instead a red with a little orange in it. Analogous is okay. Ideally, you would have colors that are directly next to each other. Now, see the discussion for another comment I made, which is this idea about having more variations of the colors you're pointing to for greater definition in the design. Hello, Catherine. I'm still looking for your color wheels with pointers here, and I have talked about this very file at length elsewhere in drafts. Fine, Gina, it would be great if you could get back to this and add the color wheels. I can sort things out fairly well, but for your classmates who are newer to this information, it's quite confusing if the color wheels aren't available with pointers. Monochromatic here looks okay, and analogous. When I get to complementary, I see in the middle left area a cyan green color and a blue color that don't fit into the cyan category. So you would have red and cyan as your complements, and all the colors used here should be tints, tones, shades, or the saturated versions of those only. Now, tetrad looks pretty good. One matter I see is that there's straight magenta here, and that wouldn't work with a tetrad involving orange. If you use orange, the magenta you need is a red magenta. Also, I'll say that with your thumbnails, there were others that I preferred. I felt that they were more complex and interesting in comparison to this. And very often people will switch the design. They will make the design a great deal more complex in between week 5, assignment 3, and week 6, assignment 1. Jamie, thanks for adding color wheels. Now, a couple of things. We are working with specific harmonies here, so it's not an idea where you would use any color you choose and then just point to it on the color wheel, but instead you would have one design that might use complements, colors opposite each other on the color wheel, and their tints, tones, and shades, and maybe monochromatic, where another design was all variations on one hue. Further, with the color wheel you've used, the colors here seem to be the paint color wheel ones, the traditional color wheel, and the work is being made using an RGB color system additive color, so you want to use the digital one instead, and we're also needing harmony names. Hi, Marie, you've clearly given a lot of thought to the arrangement of colors in this design. Analogous is generally an easier harmony to manage, and this looks all right. I think monochrome's good too. When it comes to complements, the colors have to be direct opposites. So I'd say Choose the cyan green one to the right of the one you point to, which would mean a revision to the color in your design. With split complements, let's see, the blue is not a variety of cyan, but rather a cyan blue, so that's something you could touch up. Hi Heather, I've discussed this at length elsewhere, so I'm going to refer you to that recording. And Zara, the same for you. I've discussed this very file at length elsewhere, I believe in the drafts review, so take a look there. Same for you, Julia. Take a look in drafts for my review of this very file. Hi, Amanda. You're on the right track here. Let's take a look at monochromatic. Every last tint tone or shade in saturated color, too, should come from a sole color picker field. So when I look to the flower, there is a sort of cyan color for some of the nearer petals, and that is definitely not fitting into this harmony exactly. Also, when I take the color picker to the tail feathers, I'm getting a darker blue, so that shade comes from a darker blue than the one you point to. Now, with complements, I'm seeing more than one green here. So again, everything within the composition should come from only these two color picker fields you point to. In split complements, I want you to be judicious about your oranges. For example, the beak is the proper yellow orange you point to. But when I look at the stem of the flower, that actually is color that comes from straight orange. And those greenish leaves at the back of the flower are a shade of yellow. Now, let's take a look at triad. Notice here that you don't point to a cyan green. Actually, the colors you point to make a nice triad, but there's cyan green on the hummingbird and probably in the flower too. So you need to use only that yellow green that you point to and then the cyan blue. Further, the yellow you're using isn't part of the harmony that you're working with here. I'm wondering about this design. I'd like to know more about how you made it because it's very important that the design should be original. And since we haven't been working with imagery of this nature, I don't know about your expertise. But remember, in assignment 2, week 6, you'll be giving an account of exactly how you made things. I wouldn't mind having a preview.